What we did today in homeschool on our first day back from March break. So, like every day, we started with our daily calendar. She uses her sentences on the Proloquo to go to tell me each one. So, she'll say the month is March, the day is Monday, the season is winter, today feels cold, today is sunny. And then she tells me how she feels. And she does all that in sentences on her Proloquo to go. Then we move on to our daily work binder. Every day starts the same. Order the days of the week and the months of the year. She follows along to the YouTube song that I play for her. We're still working on counting up to 6 for the numbers practice. It's really paying off going back and reviewing because her writing the numbers is really coming along. So these look so much better than last week. So she did a great job today with that. She traces this and then she likes to go back and fill it in. The stars, and then here, whatever I have on hand, I have her count 6 of. I had this on hand today because we did pizza spill for math. It's the counters, so I just had her count 6 for me on the 10 frame, and she did really well with it today. And we're gonna go up to 10, so we might move on to 7, if not this week, maybe this week, but for sure probably next week. For our worksheet today in the daily binder, we did beginning sounds review because she already knows her beginning sounds. We've actually been working more on middle sounds now, but I just went back and reviewed it. And this again is from the Spectrum series books. They have all kinds for math and language, and this one specifically was from the spelling books. So I just take it out of the book and put it in her daily work binder, and we do one a day, and they're double-sided. So on this side, she just had to fill in the beginning sound for each picture. I would always ask her first, like, what is it? So she'll say feather. So I'll emphasize for her, feather starts with f, and I do that for each one, and she'd fill it in. And because we are working on middle sounds now as well, I had her circle the middle sound for each one. She actually did this one all by herself. Like, I didn't even have to prompt her. I asked her, can you circle the middle sound? And she went right to the T. So that was pretty good. And then these she already knows because it's 3 letters. And that's what we've been doing with her CVC spelling. I always ask her circle the middle sound. So she's had practice with that. On the other side, we looked at the picture. There was 3 of them. And then I would show her, like, look, Layla, moon starts with which one starts with and she had to circle the right one. Okay, it was a little bit challenging for her. She wanted to circle all of them. Like here, you can see I had to erase it, but she eventually did get it. Okay, so beginning sound review. Then we did math. So for math today, just quickly, we did these task cards. So any review work we have to do, so whether sometimes it's big and small like this, sometimes it's more or less, because those are 2 of the goals I have set for her for math, for measurement. So today we did big and small task cards. And what I do is I put one in front of her at a time. So for example, if I put this one in front of her, I'll say, Layla, circle the small zebra. And she circled the small one, right? So the next one is find the small one again. So circle the small turtle. She circled the small turtle. Okay, and I'm very specific. I circle the big cat. Circle the big bunny. Okay, and so she got all those and she did really well with it. Another thing we did for math, we worked on addition, and we did it in the form of the shake and spill pizza. So what I do is I got this off Teachers Pay Teachers, and I think I printed out up to 10, and every day we just work on one number. So we've already done like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So today I brought out 5. I am trying to challenge her with bigger numbers. So today was 5, and I always have the numbers already laid out for her like this, ready to go. And I put exactly 5 counters in this cup because that's what we're doing. So exactly 5 counters. You just shake it, spill it onto the pizza, and we see what we get. So, for example, this time it's 2 reds and 3 yellows. So we look down here and I'll ask her, Layla, how many red circles are on the pizza? Sometimes I'll say how many pepperonis are on the pizza. And then she'll have to count 2 reds. So then she'll take the number 2 and she'll place it there on the red. Then I'll tell her how many cheese is on the pizza. And she'll count the yellow. There's 3 and she'll put 3 on the yellow. Then I tell her, Layla, how many all together? And I do this with my hand all the time. I always do these hand gestures to prompt her so she understands how many all together. And so she'll count all of them. And in total, of course, there's 5. So she'll put 5 there. And then I reiterate for her, 2 plus 3 equals 5. There are 5 toppings on the pizza. Okay. And so then we might do it like, 1 or 2 more times. We do it at least a couple times because the point is kind of to see how many different ways can you make the number 5. So again, I'll just put it in the cup and we'll go again and see if we can get something different. Okay, so, it's the same. I'm just going to change it up just for an example. Okay, so let's say 3. This time we got 3 red and 2 yellow. So we'll go through the same thing again. Layla, how many pepperonis are on the pizza? She'll count it. There's 3. So she'll put 3. How many cheese are on the pizza? She'll count 2. And then I'll ask her how many all together. And of course there's 5. So we'll put 5. And I'll reiterate again. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay. So these are not laminated. That's why I use the foam numbers. I plan to laminate these. And then once I do, instead of these foam numbers, I'm going to have her write the numbers because that's extra, extra writing practice. Okay, so that's how we use the Shake and Spill Pizza for addition. So since we did 5 today, next week we'll move on to 6. Okay, then for our theme work, our theme unit, it's animals and habitats. This was part 2 of this activity because last week in my last video, part 1, we sorted farm animals and zoo animals. So today we did house pets and ocean animals. So I just put the stack of pictures in front of her and she just works through the stack one by one. So for example, let's say the first one, it's a lobster. So what I have her do is as she sorts the animal one by one, she has to go here on her Proloquo to go. She goes into her animals folder and then she has to tell me in a sentence where each one lives. So the first one was lobster. So she'll go here to her water animals. She'll find lobster.
Lobster.
Then she'll go to her habitats folder and she'll say,
lives in water. Lobster lives in water.
Lobster lives in water. Okay, it's an ocean animal. Okay, and then she'll do that for literally each one that comes up. So she'll sort it one by one, and each one that comes up as she sorts it, she has to tell me in a sentence. So house pets, same thing. Let's say the dog comes up, so then she'll go here. She will go back to her animals folder. She has a pets folder, so she'll go to her pets folder and she'll say,
dog.
Back to habitats.
Lives in house. Dog lives in house.
Dog lives in house, okay? And she did that for all of them. There's birds. This one was I wasn't sure if she was going to put a water or house pet for this one, but she got it. She knows that if it's in a little bowl like that, it's a house pet. So those were the house pets. And again, each one in a sentence just like that, where each one lives. We had here double turtle. So we talked about how there's sea turtles like this one who lives in the water, but then you could also have a turtle as a pet. Some people have turtles as pets. She struggled with this. She got really frustrated with me. She insisted that they both go under ocean. But that is something I try to convey to her that we talked about. Okay, so sorting house pets and ocean animals. And then as a follow-up activity to that, I found these books at Dollarama. I got so lucky with them. I also had a farm animals one, which I did in my last video when we sorted farm animals and zoo animals. So who's playing in the ocean? And all of them is posed as a question, right? So, and then you get here a little hint before you open the flap. So one of the goals is for reading, I'm having her point at each word as I read it to her. So who leaps through the waves? And then she'll open and I have her tell me. And she is able to tell me verbally because it is just one word. So I'll say, Layla, what is it? And she'll say, dolphin. Okay, and we do that for each page. So who crawls sideways across the sand? And I'll ask her, she'll open the flap and I'll ask her, Layla, what is it? And she'll say, crab. Okay, so she'll tell me verbally after she opens the flap what each one is, and I just read for her the hint on this side as she points to the words. Okay, so story as the follow-up activity for our animals and habitats, sorting house pets from ocean animals and using sentences to tell me where each one lives on her Proloquo. Then it was the shake and spill for math, as well as the size task cards. And then the very last thing we do every day is we work on our sight word writing. Okay, so every day we pick one sight word. Today, the sight word we did was in. So she traces it, she writes it on the line, then she fills it in the sentence here. We read the sentence together. She points to the words as I read, find all the in words. Then we'll read the little story here. And then whatever she writes here, I do try to make it relevant to her. So for example, because we're working on habitats and stuff like that, I asked her, Layla, where do you live? And she didn't really quite understand the question to tell me house. So I had to prompt her. So I went here to her Proloquo to go.
Dog lives in house.
Sorry. And I went to her habitats folder and I asked her, Layla, where do you live? Do you live in the water, or do you live on a farm, or do you live in a house? And she said, she did say house. Okay. And I said, that's right. You live in a house. Let's write that. So every time we do this, I always make the sentence relevant to her. I always ask her the question and then I say, yeah, let's write that. So she wrote it, she copied it. I always have it written out for her ahead of time like this on a separate sheet. She copies it and then I have her go back and circle the sight word in my sentence, which she does. And then I tell her to draw pictures. So here she drew a picture of her. That's Layla and that's her house. Okay. So, and every day we end with that. And when we do that, she knows that that signals the end of homeschool. So that's it. That's everything we did today on our first day back from March break.